Welcome back collectors, history hunters, and treasure dreamers to Rare Coin Legacy, the channel where ordinary pocket change turns into extraordinary stories of fortune, mystery, and hidden wealth, and today you are about to dive into one of the most shocking and mind-bending numismatic stories ever whispered among elite collectors. The unbelievable idea that a humble 1-cent coin dated 2000 could carry a mind-staggering value of up to $15 million because of microscopic errors. Impossible mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime production anomalies that transformed a coin meant to be worth a penny into an object of obsession, desire, and legend, because when people think of rare coins they imagine ancient gold, pirate treasure, or medieval crowns, not a modern copper-plated zinc cent minted in the year 2000, yet that is exactly why this story is so powerful, because rarity is not about age alone. It is about circumstance, accident, timing, and survival, and the year 2000 was a perfect storm of technological change, massive production volume, human oversight, experimental materials, and transitional dyes that created the possibility for errors so extreme that they should never exist, and when something is not supposed to exist but does, the market assigns it a value beyond logic, beyond metal, and beyond face value, pushing it into the realm of legendary artifacts. And the 1-cent coin of 2000 was struck during a time when the United States Mint was operating at enormous speed, producing billions of coins to meet demand. As the new millennium began, machines were running non-stop, dies were being swapped rapidly, quality control was strained, and experimental processes overlapped with standard production, creating the ideal conditions for catastrophic mint errors, including off-metal strikes, wrong planchets, mismatched dies, misaligned hubs, double dies, die clashes, and even mule errors where two completely different coin designs were accidentally paired together. And in the case of a 2001 cent, the most valuable scenarios revolve around errors so dramatic that they turn a common cent into a singular object, such as being struck on a solid copper planchet intended for an earlier era rather than the copper-plated zinc used after 1982, or being struck on a planchet meant for a completely different denomination or even a foreign coin, which would instantly elevate its status to a mint catastrophe of the highest order, because modern mints have layers of safeguards specifically designed to prevent such mistakes, and when those safeguards fail, the resulting coin becomes a symbol of human fallibility within a system built for perfection, and collectors pay fortunes for proof that perfection is an illusion. And then there is the possibility of a mule error, which is one of the rarest and most dramatic mistakes a mint can make, where the obverse die of a Lincoln cent is accidentally paired with a reverse die from an entirely different coin, such as a dime, quarter, or even a dollar. And while such errors are almost mythical in modern times, the year 2000 sits at a crossroads of die experimentation and design transitions, making it one of the few modern dates where such an error is theoretically possible. And if a genuine 2001 cent mule were ever discovered, authenticated, and confirmed as unique or one of only a handful, its value would not be measured in thousands or hundreds of thousands but in millions. Because uniqueness in numismatics is the ultimate currency. And then there are double dies, not the common machine doubling that adds little value, but true hub double dies where the design itself is duplicated during the die creation process, creating dramatic doubling on letters, dates, and portraits that are unmistakable and impossible to fake. And a 2001 cent with extreme, fully separated doubling across the entire design would instantly become one of the most important modern era coins ever known, especially if the doubling affected Lincoln's portrait, the date, and key inscriptions, turning the coin into a visual spectacle that even non-collectors could recognize. And dramatic visibility drives demand, demand drives competition, and competition drives prices into the stratosphere, especially when wealthy collectors and investment funds enter the bidding wars seeking trophy pieces that no one else can own. And another possibility lies in die caps and brocages, where coins become trapped between dies or other coins, creating distorted, ghost-like impressions that freeze the moment of mechanical failure in metal. And while many die caps are known, a perfectly preserved, full design, dramatic die cap from the year 2000 cent series would be an anomaly within an anomaly, because modern era coins are far scarcer in extreme forms than older ones due to better technology, which paradoxically makes modern errors more valuable when they do appear, because they should not exist at all. And then there are transitional errors, which occur when the mint changes materials, compositions, or designs, and accidentally uses outdated or experimental components, and while the cent's composition officially changed decades earlier, rumors and documented evidence suggest that experimental planchets and test materials occasionally remain within mint facilities far longer than intended, and if a 2001 cent were struck on a pure copper planchet of the wrong weight and thickness, or on an experimental alloy never meant for circulation, its value would explode because it would represent not just a mistake but a breach of protocol, a coin that escaped from a process never meant to release it. And then we reach the concept of provenance, which is where the value can truly reach figures like $15 million, because coins do not exist in isolation, they exist within stories. And a 2001 cent error discovered in circulation, pulled from pocket change, authenticated by multiple top-tier grading services, declared unique or one of a kind, and then placed into the spotlight of global media would transcend the hobby and become a cultural phenomenon, much like famous rare stamps, paintings, or misprinted currency notes. And once mainstream attention collides with extreme rarity, the market no longer behaves rationally, because billionaires do not compete on logic. They compete on ownership, legacy, and the desire to possess something no one else can ever have, and that is where speculative valuations climb into eight-figure territory, especially when private collectors are willing to pay premiums far beyond auction estimates to secure exclusivity. And another factor that fuels astronomical value is the condition of the coin, because error coins are often damaged, worn, or incomplete, but a pristine, uncirculated, mint-state example with full original luster, sharp details, and no post-mint damage would multiply its value exponentially, as collectors do not just want rarity, they want perfection within rarity, which is the ultimate contradiction that drives prices higher than reason would allow. And authentication plays a crucial role, because modern counterfeiters are sophisticated, but certain errors are impossible to fake without access to mint equipment, and once experts confirm die markers, metal composition, strike characteristics, and production feasibility, the coin crosses a point of no return where its legitimacy is no longer questioned, and legitimacy transforms curiosity into investment, and investment transforms curiosity into wealth. And then there is the psychological aspect, because the year 2000 carries symbolic weight as the beginning of a new millennium, and collectors are deeply emotional about milestone dates, making a millennium-era error coin far more desirable than the same error dated a random year, because symbolism adds narrative, narrative adds emotional attachment, and emotional attachment adds zeros to price tags. And when all of these elements converge, extreme error, modern date, pristine condition, verified authenticity, unique status, and global attention, the idea of a 1-cent coin being valued at $15 million stops sounding insane and starts sounding inevitable, because the numismatic market has proven time and again that it rewards impossibility. And the more impossible a coin is, the more priceless it becomes, and the final layer of value comes from scarcity of opportunity, because even if such a coin exists, the odds of another ever appearing are almost non-existent, which creates urgency among collectors who know they may never get another chance. And urgency is the most powerful force in any market, stronger than logic, stronger than metal content, and stronger than history itself. And that is why you should never ignore your change, never assume modern coins are worthless, and never underestimate the power of a tiny mistake to rewrite the destiny of a single cent, because somewhere, in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten roll of pennies, a 2001 cent could be waiting, hiding millions in plain sight, carrying the silent proof that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest fortune. And that is the magic of numismatics, the magic we celebrate every day here on Rare Coin Legacy, where legends are born from pennies and history lives in the palm of your hand.